I had woken up and my mom was just kind of sitting on the couch. I came out, we talked a little bit before she mentioned Twinkle had a bit of a fall. What happened was, so I've been told, Peaches and Twinkle were in the bathroom. Twinkle was on a little perch thing we have, and there was a huge crash. Peaches and Whiskey ran, and when my mom went in, Twinkle was just there on the floor staring at her. So when I only got that far. When I was out there, Twinkle was under the couch and wouldn't come out. So I looked at her and I petted her because I could kind of reach her. And she looked perfectly fine. Apparently she was favoring a paw, so we just assumed she hurt her paw. It was a holiday too, so we assumed the vet was closed. So we were going to take her the next day, just to get checked out or stuff like that. So we did all this, and then my mom goes out to get groceries. So I'm sitting home, and I decided to stay in the living room to stay with Twinkle, because I was very worried for her, because she was under the couch and wouldn't come out. So I tried a bunch of different things, food, etc., etc. Just kind of called her out, played, shaked the little toys. She wouldn't. So I flipped up the flap of the couch and staring at her, and I noticed she had, her throat was puffed, like bloated. So I'm staring, and she seems fine. I touched a little. She didn't feel any pain, or if she did, she didn't show it. But I'm worried about it, so I called my mom. No response, because my phone glitched. And my mom eventually calls because she wanted me to carry stuff, so I did. And I mention it. Then my mom gets worried, and she helps me get Twinkle out. We lift the couch and stuff, get her out. She really wanted in there. But we eventually got her out. And yes, her neck was bloated. And then we started worrying. We thought it was just because of the fall and she was stressed. Or scared. And we thought it was fine. Sort of. We did call the vet eventually. Because apparently they weren't closed. So we were able to get in right away. But before this, because I'm forgetting stuff, she started walking. She was fine. She acted it. And then she started looking on alert. She was staring at stuff. She was staring at the corners. She stared at the walls like she didn't recognize any of it. So we started getting worried, and then she started tripping over stuff. And she would stare like she couldn't actually see. It was like she could see you were there, but didn't know how to recognize you. She was seeing stuff, but not able to avoid it or anything. So that's when we did call the vet and figure out they were available and get her right in the way. We get her in the kennel just fine, surprisingly, because normally she'd pee on us or something. And we get to the vet. She meows weird for a little bit, and then she stops, and we get her in, and the vet takes her right away. While we're explaining to the vet, she's still in the kennel, and I notice she is upside down. So I kind of briefly mention this, and the vet says that she's having a seizure. So the vet gets her out. She puts Twinkle on the floor and starts helping her. I don't know what they do. And Twinkle lets go. So the vet has to clean that up. And then she turns off the light and starts using the flashlight in her eyes. One eye was being receptive and the other wasn't. So the vet takes her and puts her in the back area where they can help her. And then we're just there, crying. And then we're just waiting. And then the vet comes in and says half of her head is unresponsive. At this point, we're thinking, great, she fell and she had a brain bleed, or head bleed. So we're expecting the worst, and then that shattered in our faces. So they start dropping news, and then they're like, we can do all this, like CAT scan, like brain scan, I don't know, it's x-ray. So they do, and then they come back to us, and they're like, we can go back and all that, but I don't know which came first. I'm busy now. They say it's not a brain bleed, and yes, her neck was yes, it's bloated. One of her, I don't know what it's called anymore, it's lymph cord or something like that, was inflamed, and we were looking for it, but we didn't see it because we didn't feel far enough. So we're feeling, and, well, we don't feel then, but they pointed out, and her brain bleeds, she's not bleeding in her brain, so we don't fully know. And then the bomb is dropped, and we're now in the back room with Twinkle. Oh, she has cancer. Or has symptoms of cancer. She has things, it's not 100% confirmed, but she has things that only are there if Cat has cancer. And it's pretty evident it's in her brain because of everything. So we were just right there, had to make a decision. All in one day, within I think 6 hours or so. Not even. And then we were dropped that bomb. And we have to decide whether we want to put her down there or do surgery or chemo or whatever. And we decided to put her down. So, chemo, because that, who knows how long that would last. And Twinkle died there. She was a good cat. That was one of her only vet visits in quite a few years. And it just came on all of a sudden. Shows how quickly can go downhill. Because she went down, then she was fine, then she couldn't see, and then she had a seizure. And we still don't know why she fell. Did she have a seizure and that caused her fall? Did she lose her vision and slip? Is that why she fell?